from India, and warm greetings to all those who have joined us today. My name is Mishma Stanislaus, the Chief Global Communication Officer for GCPIT and CIMSME, and I take this opportunity to extend a warm welcome to our chief guests, Mr. Pradyot Krishna Sinha and Ms. Zinen Kokwana, and of course our dignitaries, Ms. Aidan Ganga and Ms. Nandita, and to all the panelists, my teammates, and the dear audience. Welcome to day two of the Global Technology Summit 2020, organized by the Global Council for the Promotion of International Trade, India and Africa, in association with CIMSME. Quoting Didier Bonnet, the only wrong move when it comes to digital transformation is not to make any move at all. So today at GTS 2020, we bring to you some insightful, thought-provoking keynotes from our chief guests on the power of digital transformation and some intriguing panel discussions on enabling digital transformation with IoT and insurance in the digital age. Some dynamic, innovative startup stories are also lined up in the way. So stay tuned to learn, adapt, and make the right move with digital transformation in your respective businesses. So without further ado, I would like to start today's event by inviting Ms. Nandita Pandey, the Global Vice Chairperson of WEE Vertical for the Global Council for the Promotion of International Trade, to give the opening remarks. Ms. Nandita, Ms. Nandita is India's leading personal branding coach, a professional speaker, and an author. She is the founder and chief branding strategist of Prismatic Consulting. She is the first image consultant in Tamil Nadu, and she's the first Indian to author a book on dressology, the science of power dressing, and also co-authored Shifting Gears, a winner's playbook to pivot a crisis. She has been featured about in various magazines, newspapers, and TV channels, and she has trained over 9,500 plus people and coached more than 73 CXOs and entrepreneurs. She's also been awarded with the Supreme Super Women Achiever Award and Pride of Tamil Nadu Award by World HRD Congress. Great to have you with us today, Ms. Nandita. Over to you. Ms. Nandita, you're on mute.
Okay. Mishma, can you hear me? Yeah.
Yes, we can
Thank
hear
you for that lovely introduction, Mishma. And good evening, friends and friends from across the globe. It is a proud moment for me to address our friends from 20 plus countries today. 40 plus speakers on a single platform talking about the most important topic of today, technology. Day one had some amazing learnings with world leaders and top technology experts sharing their wisdom. Last evening gave me many insights about what I was doing in my business, what right I was doing in my business, what I can improve, and what I need to relook at. It taught me what to start doing, stop doing, and keep doing. Let me talk about start doing. Start doing, where I was losing out opportunities because I did not realize technology could help me grow my business multifold. I need to stop doing a few things where I realize that I'm just losing out on time, energy, effort, and money. And I need to leverage the right technology to be able to grow. And last but not the least, I also realized that there are a lot of things that I need to keep doing. Yes, I am doing a few things right. And I was very happy that yesterday's talks actually reinforced that for me. So there was a lot of for me to personally learn, unlearn, and relearn. And that is a vital process for us to grow. I'm sure you all agree. They say if you don't grow and change, you become obsolete. And there is just about no value in being obsolete. And today's summit is a testimony to that. I really acknowledge the speakers and GCPIT and CIMSME for the value that they are adding through this summit for all SMEs across the globe. Thanks to the pandemic, we've realized two very important things. One, that we are all citizens of the global village. Second, we need technology and we actually coexist. Let me talk a little about global citizens. The world becomes our playing field now. There is no boundary of state, countries, cultures, and we can do business with people across the globe. Sitting here in Chennai, I have clients in smaller towns in North and South of India, With equal elan, I talk about my clients from London, Malaysia, Sri Lanka, Dubai, Germany, and very soon I'm sure we'll be working with Africa also. And the story would be the same for most of you. You need to be aware that businesses across the globe and your competition today is not a person sitting in the same city as you are, but somewhere far off in Brazil or in Africa or in Japan. So what you need to do is be competent and competitive and give massive value proposition to all your global clients. A seminar like this makes us aware that what is happening in 20 plus countries and how we can, what they are thinking, what they are doing, and how we can collaborate with the best vendors, suppliers from across the globe. Like I said, global village. The second part that I would like to talk about is coexisting with technology. For a lot of us, and including me here, as subject matter expert, as small and medium enterprise owners, we were always afraid of touching technology. We were afraid to accept and adapt to technology. A lot of manpower intensive businesses across the world were not using technology, the right technology, let me put it that way, to enhance their production, performance, and productivity. Why? Because there's always a misconception about technology. It's expensive. The cost of acquisition of technology is higher for that of a small and medium enterprise. It can't replace people and thinking skills. Well, technology can do that. And a lot of such myths were broken thanks to the pandemic and to the conference that happened yesterday. We learned that in the new normal, we need and we have to coexist with technology. There can be a human touch to the technology that we use, and that was emphasized yesterday, and I'm sure it is going to be enhanced only today. It is not that technology is there to replace us, it is there to help us become more productive and profitable. Thus, spend more money on things that we really enjoy doing. That is spending time with friends, families, and pursuing our dream. If you remember, Mrs. Roosevelt, the first lady of the United States, had said, the future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams. Thanks to the summit like this, we can leverage on the wisdom of the best brains in the world so that we have time to live our dreams and we can make the world a better place. Here, I would like to also take a minute to talk about the global ambassadors that we have. CIMSME and GCPIT have undertaken a mission to mentor 30 women leaders from across the globe. These women will be mentored by 10 plus global change leaders to help not only themselves, but to help and make others live their own dreams. These women are dreaming big. Yes, it's a big dream because for them, the playing field is not their city, not their country, but the world at large. They have embarked on a mission to work with in 13 areas where using technology and collaborating with the best minds in the world, they will definitely, I'm sure, make the world a better place. And that is a commitment these 30 women have made. Well, and now I would like to request all of you to take out your notepads and pens and still the old way of thinking and look at how you can make this global village better and how you can leverage technology by learning from some of the best brains that we are going to bring in today. I personally look forward for a fantastic evening to help me create more opportunities and also help create opportunities for all of you. Thank you so much.
Sorry about that. Thank you so much, Ms. Nandita. And that was a great opening and a great start to day 2 of the summit. So with that, I would now like to introduce our honorable chief guest for today, Mr. Pradyot Krishna Sinha. Mr. Sinha is a supply management professional with experience within India, Asia Pacific, and globally as head of procurement, contract manufacturing, real estate, logistics, and shared services. During his long stint in Europe, Mr. Sinha has led the global procurement shared service for Royal Philips with operations in 140 countries and been the market procurement leader for Central and Eastern Europe. His core competency is in setting up global service units, in sourcing and outsourcing of activities, and leading change within the organization. We are pleased to have you amidst us today, sir, And with that, I would like to invite you to please address the audience. Over to you.
Thank you. Thank you for this very nice introduction. It's a pleasure for me to be here today amongst all of you. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending from which continent the participants have joined us. I'm glad to be invited as the speaker, the chief guest for this Global Tech Summit 2020 hosted by the Global Council for Promotion of International Trade. Today's session will be mainly focusing on IoT and on insurance, basically in the digital age. Let's start with the IoT, Internet of Things. What is IoT? I mean, there are a lot of tech gurus sitting here, so I mean, they would obviously know what IoT is. But to put in simple terms, I can say that it is basically it facilitates to connect through one, let's say, coherent network rather than working in silos. When we talk about IoT, I mean, a decade back, this was just a buzzword, right? Today, it is our lifeline. We eat, we breathe, we sleep IoT. I mean, the future of IoT, if we talk about it, is actually it's limitless, right? I mean, it has no bounds. When we look at, I mean, IoT, we talk about something like real-time reporting, which, let's say, improves the visibility. It helps in faster and accurate decision making process, and which in turn, let's say, drives the efficiency and cost down. uh, we all know that IoT can be applied in many forms, right? I mean, it is endless. But let's pick up few. For example, we can use IoT in developing smart cities. We can use IoT in, let's say, smart energy management, in something like ordering grocery. I have seen myself in Germany, or rather in Netherlands actually, where basically there are kiosks in the railway station. So once people are coming back from office, the women coming back from office, they're waiting for the trains, they just sort of place the orders, and that's done. So maybe by the time they reach home, either the grocery or the fast food is already there. So I mean, IoT can be really used in various ways. Today, I mean, the washing machine that I bought last time had this option of switching it on remotely from your mobile. I'm not sure how much we use it, but it's there, right? IoT can also be very beneficially used, let's say, in the areas of agriculture and healthcare. Today, the moisture level of the soil, now that can be measured using IoT. Yeah, the amount of fertilizer that you need to give. Yeah, and of course, healthcare, we will speak more when we go into the, let's say, discussion in the insurance front. um, I'll also cite you one very typical example of IoT, which was an eye-opening example for myself. uh, when I was traveling in Germany, I was told by one of my very close associate that his wife was driving on the expressway, and there was suddenly a person chasing on a bike. And this person was actually sort of really going full speed, and his wife got a bit nervous. She pressed the gas, and in Germany you have no speed limits, so she went above 200 kilometers an hour, and this guy somehow managed to overtake her and stopped her car. And then he got down, he showed his identity card, and after knocking the window, and then he said, "Madam, I'm from so and so company, I'm from BMW. There is one component in your car which is malfunctioning, and we have received a signal that this needs to be replaced. I have the component with me, and now I am here to basically change the component." So you can imagine, I mean, to what extent IoT can be used in this world, and how it can be used very beneficially. That's endless. But let's not forget one thing. Like, there are lots of benefits, but let us not forget that IoT also poses a huge security and privacy risk today. And I mean, we are all into it, and we will have to control it and mitigate it. Control it either by self control or mitigate it through legislations. So we should not forget the risk of IoT as well. Coming to insurance, right? I mean, we all know that the healthcare industry has a very high potential in this. In this digital world, right? We know that in this pandemic, how much healthcare as an industry has actually used internet, right? The whole digitalization has fast forwarded by almost 2-3 years due to the movement restriction during this pandemic. Now the role of insurance is actually changing if you go to look at it. Earlier insurance was for loss indemnification. Now it is more and more moving towards preventive and risk mitigation, right? However, I have to say that till date, insurance, in especially in the developing countries, has a very low penetration. The main reason for this is because insurance is a very cumbersome process in these countries. It is very difficult in terms of buying a policy. You have to go through a number of forms, you have to do certain checks, and then you sort of qualify to be getting a policy. Now the day we can buy insurance by a press of a button, that should be our vision, and that's the day when this whole industry will see a boom. And I can tell you for sure that this will never ever be possible without actually using IoT. Now let's look at the doctors today. In this healthcare industry, the whole flow of health information today is actually one way. It's a single track information. What do I mean by that? Today, the entire flow is actually first collected by the medical fraternity. From there, it passes on. It passes on to the individuals, and it passes on to, let's say, the peer group within the healthcare fraternity. Now, it's told that I read that 76% of the health professionals in India, and I still guess it must be in the metros and major metros, are using digital health records, and they are actually sharing the data, which is excellent actually. Now telehealth as a concept is picking up, along with remote patient monitoring. Now this is becoming common, and this we have again seen very much during this pandemic, because there were asymptomatic patients who were at home, who needed medication, doctors were not visiting, so everything happened where it only happened through the telemedicine or telehealth channel. Now I will say the time has come basically for what we call as reciprocal intelligence. Now what is reciprocal intelligence? Reciprocal intelligence means that we as individuals have to share our healths and habits. Now once we start doing that, this will help the industry, the medical industry, in providing customized solutions, and also in providing the right level of penetration that this industry needs today. A real-time tracking will also help in providing a real-time medication. Now let me give you an example that a diabetic patient today, there is a something what we call as a small machine which you can clip it to your belt, and there is a syringe which is inserted in your body, and it stays there, a very small syringe. And this machine actually real time measures your blood sugar. It then releases the right amount of, let's say, insulin that is required to your blood, and it controls it. Now this is only possible because there is intelligence which is built into this machine, and basically it is releasing that amount of medication that is needed for your body, thereby also ensuring that you are not taking too high insulin or low insulin, and this is a real time thing. This is what will also support us if we go into this sort of, let's say, practices. It will support us in healthy habits, and it will also eventually help in reducing insurance premium. We all know that in case of cars, If today we do not meet with an accident, the next day actually we are given a sort of a no claim bonus, which basically helps us in reducing our insurance premiums, right? So similarly, if we upfront share our healthcare habits and the medication that we are taking, then for example, if we say that my weight I have reduced by 15 kgs in the last 1 year, I have reduced my diabetic medication by 50%, then automatically our insurance policy or my insurance policy premiums have to come down, because there is transparency. People are knowing that I am being proactive in taking care of my health, and hence I deserve to be charged less compared to someone who's not taking that proactive measure. So I mean, this is all fine when it comes to this the healthcare industry and the insurance, let's say, industry per se. But I have to say that the ultimate goal of every industry should be to use technology to improve people's lives. I mean, that should be the motto, right? um, Having come from Philips, I am aware that Philips has been rigorously pursuing the solutions to improve the lives of 3 billion people by 2025. And how do they plan to do it? They plan to do it by basically using the social, which is the well-being, and the ecological, which is the green solutions. And I mean, there are many other companies who are using the ESG, which is environment, social, and corporate governance, and they are setting their own targets to achieve these sort of goals. So this is, let's say, briefly about the topic of the day. Now, before I end, I would like to mention here that I have been appointed, of course, as the GCPIT Director General for Europe continent. And it would not be fair if I don't give you a bit of perspective of Europe today. I mean, Europe has a huge potential when it comes to ITES industry. We know that India, of course, is in the lead, followed by China. But we should also remember that Poland is the third largest country in the world when it comes to the IT, BPO, SSC sector and the ITES sector. And there are all the big companies, be it TCS, Infosys, HCL Technology, Wipro. I mean, they all have their presence in Europe, in European Union. And basically, I would like to mention here that if any one of you, and through our word of mouth, wants to reach Europe, wants to have a entry, I mean, please feel free to reach out to me. There are a lot of incentives which is being offered by the government, which I am aware of. I can help open certain doors if need be, because I have been working in Europe for almost 10 years now. And I mean, I also have helped many organizations. So feel free to reach out to me. I'll put my email ID in the chat, and I'll be more than glad if any of my members from this organization can be helped through this channel. With this, I would like to thank, first of all, GCPIT, and of course, Santosh, for inviting me to be the keynote speaker of the day. And also, I am wishing all of you a very good session. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Pradyot, for joining us, and welcome to the GCPIT family. And thank you for extending the support towards the audience and the family. We'll definitely look up to you for your valuable advice.
Thank
So
you.
with that, I would now like to introduce our second chief guest for today, Mr. Jayesh Ranjan, to give another keynote. Mr. Jayesh is a member of the Indian Administrative Service and All India topper of the 1992 batch. He is the Principal Secretary of the Industries and Commerce and Information Technology Department of Telangana Government. His assignment involves developing policy frameworks, attracting new investments, identifying opportunities of utilizing IT in various government processes, and promoting digital empowerment of the citizens. His last few assignments have been in the industrial promotion sector as commissioner and MD of the industries department, secretary in the tourism promotion department, and vice chairman of the Hyderabad Urban Development Authority. And he's also done various rural assignments in different parts of the state for over 12 years, working in diverse sectors like tribal development, natural resources management, poverty alleviation, and other related social development sectors. It is a privilege to have you with us today, sir, and over to you, Mr. Jayesh.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Warm greetings to fellow panelists, fellow speakers. Greetings also to all the attendees, all the listeners. I'm delighted to speak on the second day of the Global Technology Summit. In some ways, I would also reiterate some of the points which Mr. Sinha was mentioning, and I will add my own perspectives to some of the things that he shared. So, as we all are aware, the ongoing pandemic has caused tremendous disruption in different walks of life, whatever sector of economy you are in, whatever part of the society you are in. The pandemic hasn't left anyone untouched. In some sectors, the disruption is very, very severe. In some others, not so much. But nevertheless, there has been a severe disruption and a new way of looking at how businesses are operated. It is also very obvious, at least in Telangana, the province that I represent in India, that in different sectors also, it is the small and mid-scale units which have really borne the brunt. In fact, I have come across many cases where small and mid-scale units, or MSMEs as they are called here in India, they were almost on the brink of closure. They would have actually kind of shut shop if not for some timely intervention which happened in our country. And not to mean that the large corporations, the large companies did not face this disruption. They also had severe stress and difficulties. But obviously, because they have deeper pockets, their ability to withstand this crisis is much more than the MSMEs. And I also include startups in this category. As you know, some of you would know, Hyderabad has become a very important center for startup activity, for entrepreneurship, for innovation. And we came across a situation in which hundreds of startups also had tremendous challenges, and for good reasons. Many of them also faced a matter of absolute extinction in this point in time. But nevertheless, one good thing is that all that seems to be getting behind us, and we seem to be at the beginning of the end of this pandemic. As all of us know, tremendous progress has been achieved in vaccine development. I feel again very proud to share with you that there are a few Hyderabad-based companies which have taken the lead in developing this vaccine and mass production of this vaccine in India. And it's only a matter of time that all of us will be able to resume our lives with normalcy with the availability of this vaccine. But one very important question which people now are contemplating, and they're actually planning very, very big, is on the post-COVID economic recovery process. We all know that even the government's own revenues, etc., had a severe dip during this period. But governments still have ways of finding opportunities to supplement these resources. But how and what can be done to really support enterprises? And again, the focus is on the mid-scale and the small enterprises and the startups on this post-COVID economic recovery path. And I'm a part of many other conversations also. And I would like to share with all of you that there is now a near unanimous opinion that digitalization is going to play a very, very important role in this post-COVID economic recovery. And previous speaker, Mr. Sinha, also spoke about it. Of course, he highlighted the IoT aspect of it, but looking at a basket of emerging technologies, including IoT, the process of recovery is going to be aided to a very, very large extent by the digitalization process. Now, and this is regardless of the economic sector that you operate in, regardless of the geography. I'm a part of a group which is actually a task force which has been put together by the World Economic Forum for the South Asia region. I incidentally co-chair that group, and we are looking at digitalization solutions for the region as a whole. So, regardless of the geography, regardless of the sector of economy, and most importantly, regardless of the scale, in the past, typically we used to think that technology is only for big firms, but now the message is very loud and clear that the digitalization process needs to spread even to the smallest of the unit, the smallest of the MSMEs, and everyone needs to participate in the digitalization process. Now, this leads us to three important follow-up questions. First of all, which are these technologies? What are the solutions? What are the products which are going to help units in their post-COVID economic recovery process? The second very important question is how to make these solutions, tools, etc., fairly accessible and fairly affordable also. The cost of the technology or cost of acquiring that technology should not become a bottleneck in helping companies in their recovery process. And the third very important question is what is the readiness of the MSME sector in absorbing or assimilating or adopting these technologies? So these are the three questions which I would like this gathering to really discuss, and I would like institutions and organizations who are participating in this summit to really own up answer to these questions and then help all their members complete this transformation, the digital transformation process, by ensuring that these three questions are adequately answered for all their members. So let me begin by the third question first. I mentioned the third question. What is the what is the readiness in these MSMEs to adopt large scale digital products and digital solutions? And this actually reminds me of a very interesting anecdote, and I'll take a couple of minutes to recount it. About 4 or 5 years ago, when obviously there was no COVID or anything, there is a consultancy organization in India that is called Dun and Bradstreet. So they had done a survey in Hyderabad, in Telangana, on the usage of technology by MSMEs, and they had prepared a scale, and they had administered that scale to almost some 400 or 500 MSMEs, a sample MSMEs, and then they have produced their findings. And the scale was like this. On the one extreme were some very basic points like does the founder of that MSME, does he have an email account, does he maintain databases, does he have a kind of a simple accounting software like Tally, etc. And on the other extreme were very deep kind of technology questions. For example, does he have a full-fledged ERP? Does the company have a website? Do they practice e-commerce? So these kind of questions were on the other side, and basic questions, etc., were on the left side of the scale. And they had invited me to unveil the report and present the findings. And I still recall, in fact, even I was astonished when the data was shared and when the report was unveiled. And many of you will also find it very, very astonishing. But subsequently, when you think of it, it doesn't surprise you so much. But the finding of that report was that almost 70%, in fact more than 70%, 72%, if I recall correctly, MSME owners did not even have an email address. I mean, even the most basic digital footprint of having an email and sending mails to your business associates or whatever, even that practice was not followed in 72% of the MSMEs. So enormous numbers. And normally I'm the IT secretary. I participate in lots of such webinars and all that, and we talk about helping people climb the digital ladder. But here is a scenario when people can't even see that ladder. Where is the question of helping them climb the ladder? The ladder itself is not visible to people, to 72% of the people. So this is the context. Of course, I'm sure the numbers have changed, and now if someone does a survey, the numbers will not be that kind of alarming. But nevertheless, the reality would be that a large number of MSME founders, etc., may still not be completely on the digital bandwagon. And obviously, there are obvious reasons for it. most of the MSME founders, they are from the older generation. They are, as we call them, they are 19th century kind of people, and many of them have a mental block that technology is not for us. It is only for people who have gone to colleges, who speak English, and so on and so forth. And some of them may have some kind of a mistaken belief that it is too expensive. I run a small enterprise, and how can I invest in technology? I do not have that kind of returns. Again, these are all beliefs which are not founded on facts. We all know what kind of affordability technology has today, but nevertheless, the responsibility to bring large number of people on this digital bandwagon is very, very important. But on the same note, let me share a positive example, and this is more recent. The earlier example was almost 5 years old, but what I'm going to say now is just about 5 months old. A very positive example. The example is like this. Obviously, in India, as many of us would know who are participating in this conference from India, the lockdown started in March. On 22nd of March, lockdown was declared, and then it continued for many, many months. And obviously, during the lockdown period, all of us, everyone who was confined to homes, we found it very difficult to get groceries. And then when the government realized that this has become a big issue, then they allowed e-commerce companies to operate. So thereafter, it became easy to order groceries online, and you get everything delivered at home. But we all know that at least in older cities, like Hyderabad is a city which has more than 400 years of history. So in these kind of old cities, there is also a kind of a practice of neighborhood grocers. In India, in Hyderabad in particular, we call them kirana stores. So every neighborhood has a kirana store, and over a period of time, you develop some kind of a relationship with that store. I mean, you as a child would have gone there so many times. The owner recognizes you. Sometimes if you are short of cash, he allows you to take stuff on credit. Before you, your father would have patronized that same store, and the owner's father would have interacted with your father, and so on and so forth. So you get a very kind of a nice relationship with this kind of a neighborhood store. And obviously, during the lockdown period, the stores also got closed and no one could patronize. And then you would feel a sense of missing, that I'm not able to contribute to that store's well-being, and he's a simple man, but I'm not able to do anything for it. So we started looking at this problem in a way, whether can we digitize all these kirana stores. And again, I feel very proud to share with you that literally in a matter of few days, we were able to digitize more than 1,000 such kirana stores, neighborhood kirana stores in Hyderabad. We were able to create websites for them. We were able to digitize their inventories. We were able to create a payment gateway for them, create an online ordering facility for them. And all these kirana stores had to do was to engage a couple of boys to get the delivery actually sent to the patrons' homes. And we did not find it to be a very complicated exercise. Even if the kirana store owners, and these are the last people whom you would associate with technology and gadgets and all that, but we found it very easy. Once we told them that someone will handhold you and someone will help you with this whole process. And of course, we engaged a technology company. It's a company called Global Linkers. We were able to take their help and convert literally thousands of kirana stores into digital. So this question which I asked, that is there a digital readiness? The answer is both yes and no. I mean, on the surface of it, it appears that there is no readiness. They don't even use emails. But the other part of the experience, the other kind of experience shows that if you are able to explain to them what digital will mean, what benefits it will bring, and how easy it is to move into digital, and how someone will handhold them, and nothing untoward or no mishaps are going to happen, the acceptance is also very, very fast and very rapid. And as I showed, thousands of people joined this program. So this is the issue, that if you are able to break that mental barrier that technology is not for us, it's only for the English speaking and the college going kind of guys, you will be able to get their buy-in. And then the earlier two questions when I started speaking, I mentioned about 3 points. This was the third thing. The first two things: what are the solutions? What are the basket of solutions? And secondly, how to make them accessible and affordable. So I'll answer these two questions together. Now, first of all, it is very obvious that there are many things, many kinds of solutions that we can think of for the small businesses. The IoT based solutions which Mr. Srina spoke are definitely important, but there are other very basic things. How do you help them set up an ERP? How do you help them set up a CRM? There are lots of uh, simple accounting solutions, HR solutions, payroll solutions. How can you help them in getting these kind of solutions accessible? Similarly, we know that there are lots of approvals, permissions, renewals that they are expected to obtain. So how do you help them obtain all those things electronically, so that their efforts and their costs of doing all these things manually, all that is not there anymore. We also know that, just as I explained, e-commerce can be a very good solution for many kinds of small businesses. How do you help them get onto e-commerce? So all kinds of tools and technologies which are available or which can be created, we need to think about it. The best way to find out what is needed is to study certain verticals and understand what is needed there, and most importantly, build their capacities to run these products and solutions. And as I said, another very important thing will be to make these solutions accessible and to make these solutions affordable. Now, we know, I mean, we are, all of us are familiar with the SaaS model. So this is the model that we will have to think about. Instead of insisting that they invest in buying licensed tools or licensed software, etc., for which there could be resistance and there could be issues in terms of their affordability, etc., we have to look at a pay as you go kind of a model, software as a service model, solution as a service model, and so on and so forth. And today there are lots of such solutions, whole range of solutions, where you don't have to subscribe, you don't have to buy, you have to subscribe, but you don't have to buy anything. Everything is available as a service. And in terms of making it accessible also, there are lots of business associations. In fact, in Hyderabad, the small businesses have their own associations. And when we started this Kirana shops programs, we approached them, the thousands of them in Hyderabad, through their confederation. They are all part of a national confederation called CAIT. So we were able to take help of the local chapter of the Telangana chapter of CAIT, get access immediately to thousands of Kirana stores, and using the kind of support of this association, we were able to disseminate the technology solutions, etc., very, very easily. And there are so many other industry bodies, industry associations. Government, of course, will be more than happy, more than willing to partner and support any such initiative through which technology percolation is happening. So, in my opinion, the post-COVID economic recovery is definitely going to be aided by digitalization, but it is very important to be very inclusive in this digitalization process. Already, for the last so many years, almost more than a decade, when India has started its digital journey in a very, very aggressive manner by starting programs like Digital India and so on and so forth, there have been questions raised about the inclusiveness of such programs. There is always a fear that these programs will only help people who again have who live in the cities, who have access to devices, and obviously who master technology. When we look at the post-COVID economic recovery program, again, we should be very conscious of the fact that whatever we do should not aggravate or exacerbate the digital divide. We should become much more inclusive. And I mentioned when I was giving the example of the Kirana stores that hand holding was a very, very defining kind of intervention. I can explain to you what technology is. I can orally.
I'm sorry to interrupt you in between. We are a bit running short of time, so requesting you if you can conclude.
Yes, sure. So this is by and large my concluding message also, that we must support and help people in this post-COVID economic recovery, and technology has the best solution to offer today. And I'm confident that all the associations and organizations which are a part of this webinar, they will take this message and commence their activities in the right earnest. Thank you very much for inviting me.
Thank you so much, Mr. Jayesh, for joining us. And like you rightly said, all through, digitalization doesn't see, whether you're a small or big company. It is a necessity for all to stay on top of the game. So thank you so much for joining us and giving such a great keynote. So moving forward, I would now like to invite our international chief guest, Ms. Zine Kokwana, to address the gathering. Ms. Zine holds several leadership positions in various organizations, including being the National Deputy President of Progressive Blacks in Information and Communication Technology, as well as the Chairperson of Marketing and Communications Committee of the African Tourism Board. She was also the CEO of South African Women in ICT Forum before taking the current role of Deputy President at PBICT. Ms. Zine is an entrepreneur who is also the Chief Executive Officer of Linda Mahale Management System, which is a 100% female-owned ICT accredited training service provider, and which was the first female-owned company in Africa and signed as a partner to Google in the Digital Skills for Africa program. Ms. Zine is an international award and national winner of Women of the Decade Award 2019, Exceptional Women of Excellence Award in 2018, and Iconic Women Creating a Better World for All Award in 2017, conferred by All Ladies League in association with Women Economic Forum in New Delhi, India. It is great to have you with us today, Ms. Zine. Over to you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for welcoming me here. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, everyone. At first, let me just take the opportunity of thanking the organizers for inviting me here. And secondly, I would like to apologize for my voice. I've got a little bit of flu. My voice was gone completely yesterday, so I don't usually sound like this. So from time to time, as I'm speaking, if you allow me, I'm going to be having, a sip of my water so that I can get my voice to sound a little bit better. Am I allowed to do that? Thank you so much. Good evening, good afternoon, everyone. My talk is going to be briefly on InsurTech. Sorry, just hold on a minute for me. It's going to be briefly on digital transformation using IoT and InsurTech. The insurance sector globally is in a constant state of transition. It's influenced by, amongst many other things, changing economic factors, privacy laws, customer rights, and access to information requirements. As the needs of consumers evolve and mature, insurers face an ongoing challenge to maintain relevance with policyholders. I think we all know this. However, in a digitally transforming sector, traditional insurers must cope with insurtech startups that are using emerging technologies, including Internet of Things, analytics, and other digital transformation capabilities to disrupt traditional insurers' value propositions. In most third world countries, just like South Africa, short-term insurance players have demonstrated limited adoption of IoT technologies, and it's a wonder why. Because these can empower both new or improved policyholder insights and new or improved insurance products and business model innovations, whilst driving a transformational shift in the value provided to policyholders. So by adopting an IoT-centric business model, an insurer can use real-time information to build or improve its products, service models, and portfolio, as opposed to using traditional mechanisms which rely on historical, periodically updated macro-level data. Here in South Africa, those insurtech firms that seem to be gaining traction have a strong focus on automation, cloud-based systems, machine learning, and mobile apps to modernize insurance experience or capability with little use of IoT technology or no use at all. The use of IoT is emerging, but with a focus on monitoring and measuring, and its application to the insurance sector is still very much limited. In 2016, it was estimated that 65% of vehicles and households here in South Africa were not insured. That's a tragedy, presenting a significant opportunity for insurers. They should be using that. It also has emerged that traditional insurance models are not attractive to millennials, those people who were born between 1981 and 1996. And those make up a large percentage of the market worldwide. These millennials, whether we like it or not, they are digital natives. So it presents a clear challenge to any insurer that has low engagement and low investment in digital transformation strategies. So insurtech companies are demonstrating the value of digital innovations in provision of insurance products. Amongst other things, these companies use social media platforms to create shared risk peer groups, that is peer-to-peer insurance. Now let's just have a brief look at perspectives from the literature on the Internet of Things. What do we mean here? The IoT has enabled globally and functionally different networks and devices to interact with one another. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here today and talking, all of us seeing one another all the way from, I don't know how many countries are here represented here today. This interaction is enabled by devices that act as a bridge between geographically or topologically dissimilar networks and devices. These bridges perform local activities in response to data from their attached sensors and communicate this data to an online platform for rapid analysis, optimization, and functional adaptation. This phenomenon of devices that can dynamically communicate and respond is positively contributing to the way organizations design their services and how customers can consume them. So an intelligent device that we all, I think we have, can be any device embedded with a combination of sensors, actuators, and microprocessors that is proficient in communicating with other devices, systems, or even humans. So with the advent of IoT and real-time bi-directional communication, machines and things, not only humans, will be regarded as customers of an organization. Gone are these days that a human being is only the one who is going to be a customer. Even machines these days can do that. IoT enables the consumer to digitally interact with products, including maintaining, monitoring, conserving, adjusting, and allocating activities. This interaction enables a new level of active engagement, interaction, and feedback between consumers and producers. Consumers will embrace and adopt any interactive technology as they increasingly gain positive experiences and outcomes from such engagements. With this increase in interactions, then, a service provider in insurance will organically receive more usage data from its customers. As these data points grow, so does the precision of analytics. What do we mean by this? Analytics develop the service provider's ability to understand customer expectations, which in turn inform product innovation and development, user experience, preventative maintenance, and service delivery innovations, shifting them into data-driven business. We are in 2020 now, or we're getting to 2021. The traditional urban spaces that people occupy are being transformed into digitally enabled smart cities, driven by the expectation that 60% of the world's population will be urbanized by 2025. That's in 5 years from now. So IoT data-driven capability enables organizations to develop or improve products as well as build useful services and businesses. It encourages the organization to broaden its value proposition and reshape itself to leverage the new opportunities that smart devices provide. What are the benefits for the business here? They include operational improvement, in-usage optimization, and preventative maintenance of products coupled with digitally supported, proactive and data-driven engagement and response to the market. Let's talk about just 4 factors that catalyze innovation disruptions. What happens when a new entrant product or service that addresses consumers' current challenges? Existing suppliers are replaced by a new entrant providing an innovative, technology-enabled offering. Number 3, there are no significant regulatory barriers to impede the disruptive innovations or innovators. Fourthly, this one is quite prevalent in many countries. There's an aggressive investment from investors driving the adoption of a new innovation or technology. Therefore, what happens here? Most short-term insurers need to consider these factors when determining how to remain relevant to the evolving digital needs of policyholders, to consumption economy, and to a sector-shifting insurtech. Traditional insurer needs to develop the competencies in digital product innovation necessary to satisfy policyholders looking for insurance personalization, which is customized to their specific social, economic, and risk circumstances. We don't want a one-size-fits-all. The insurers adapting to the changes brought by InsurTech are focusing on data-driven customer experiences, channel digitization, the role of ecosystems, and IoT. The introduction of IoT-enabled insurance products allows the insurer to introduce experiential insurance products allows insurers to introduce experiential value and rewards for the adoption of risk-reducing behaviors. IoT adoption is growing and is driven by three distinct technology trends. Number one, the volume of data generated and received using a variety of technologies and communication standards, whether we like it or not. Number two, the majority of cloud-based technologies which now enable the affordable collection, storage, and conversion of data into meaningful information. Number three, the growing presence of always connected mobile, smarter and more socially collaborative networks that make vast amounts of information available for decision-making and real-time response. So with IoT adoption, it enables insurers to reduce their quoting and underwriting processing time by as much as 60%, enabling cost reduction and improving policyholder experiences. We don't want to go to those offices now and fill in thousands of forms. Natural disasters affect everyone in a community, and they may result in the loss of property and or lives. An IoT-enabled disaster management system can be unified and integrated using real-time alerts and historical data analysis to determine probable areas needing emergency services, crisis management teams, and critical relief when disaster occurs. They should stop acting after the effect. Insurers can leverage these types of disaster management systems to equip themselves and manage their response in the event of disaster striking. Another emerging trend that I've noticed is integration of IoT data with analytics tools to build a holistic picture of risk environment to manage claims. Technology innovations have a direct influence on the rise of data privacy and security challenges for insurers and other users of IoT technologies. Policyholders are sometimes not consciously aware of their data passing through networks, vast amounts of networks, and storage devices of insurers and their service providers. The invisible data collection is driving the emerging challenge of digital trust and privacy for the insurance sector. We all need to know that our information is stored securely. Data collection allows the insurer to provide services to the policyholder and it could otherwise not provide before. It simultaneously places an obligation on the insurers to mitigate the leakage of this data, and such leakage could affect the security or invade the privacy of the policyholder. In an always connected world, it is often difficult to quantify how the data generated is used to benefit the policyholder directly and what generation unnecessarily compromises me as a policyholder. I have three questions that I would like all of us to ponder as I was in this research. How IoT can enable or improve market insights for insurance providers. Number two, what new or improved insurance models or products are possible through the adoption of IoT? And number three, how IoT adoption can transform the short-term insurance market. Let me briefly look at IoT and InsurTech's impact on the insurance sector's business models, because business models have to change whether we like that or not. Traditionally, short-term insurers have determined their risk calculation models based on data gathered at the time of policyholder sign-up or during a claims process. Digital technologies are changing the face of risk calculation. We can't have that now anymore. The significant volume of data presents an unprecedented level of insight into motor vehicle risk factors. Insurers could employ these data-driven insights to engage their policyholders positively. Insurtech companies like P2P, peer-to-pressure insurers, have a digitally technology-led operating model. Using IoT, insurers can cover event types that were previously uninsurable or excluded from a policy. Instead of penalizing you as a policyholder during these instances, insurers could implement new risk models whereby real-time non-contractual, incident-based insurance products could be created, used, and discarded as and when required. When small, traditionally uninsured events are covered in a tailored way, both the insurer and the policyholder gain from the opportunity of evaluating bespoke, incident-based, digitally enabled insurance offering. Sorry.
Now let's talk IoT, insurtech, and organizational transformation. Insurers who leverage IoT data can take new data-driven services and products to market. Using digital technology, the insurer could move its business model away from only ensuring risk to also ensuring prevention of loss events. This means IoT is a game changer for insurers. The sector, therefore, has to date actually failed to leverage the successful business case of telemetry to drive acceptance of investment in new products enabled by IoT. It is a wonder. Partnerships with or acquisitions of existing insurtech players could be a key mechanism through which traditional insurers could allow new learning to enter their organizations. That is allowing for internalization of the insights and knowledge of an insurtech, including understanding the skills required for employees to participate in the insurtech future. Traditional insurers' resistance to change. This is what kills most organizations, resistance to change. Organizational resistance to change is predominant in most insurance organizations, and that's attributable to the urge to safeguard existing business models and existing stakeholder interests. There's a delicate balance between the financial rewards offered by technology adoption and the magnitude of change required to adapt existing business models. Insurers' inclination to adopt an innovative technology increases as they grow more familiar with its application, as organizational models evolve due to the technology, and as the ability of the technology to scale across policyholder base grows. So what of impact of smart cities and smart homes? Something that we talk of quite a lot these days, smart cities. The communications infrastructure is in place for IoT-driven smart cities and smart homes in many countries, even in many parts of South Africa. Insurtech can be expected to drive the adoption of smart devices in the household, from utility meters to intelligent lighting and security systems. The consumer would adopt such technology if the cost of use is lowered with tangible rewards for the policyholder, such as cost savings or value-adding services. An opportunity therefore exists for traditional insurers to look at using their reach through the existing short-term insurance policies for homes and their contents to influence the adoption of smart devices, like IoT security cameras, doorbells, lights, and locks for insurtech purposes. The insurer could become an active participant in risk mitigation activities instead of being only the underwriter of theft or loss and allowing a third-party security company to mitigate potential loss with the policyholder. So what of privacy and digital trust? A huge factor, very crucial. Digital trust is a crucial component of the digital age. Insurers need policyholder data and information to innovate and produce customer-centric solutions and offerings. Some consumers believe that telemetry collects data that can negatively affect their insurance premiums or cover, a sentiment that could prevent those insurers who adopt digital business models from retaining or attracting digital skeptics. Policyholders will yield their personal information if insurers prove that the data collection is done morally and, most importantly, ethically, to benefit the policyholder and not to discriminate negatively against them. Insurers must begin the journey of digital transformation to develop digital-centric business models that tangibly benefit policyholders rather than using the data to preserve existing business models and to to penalize policyholders. As I conclude, this journey is challenging for traditional insurers, as it requires the insurer business model to change dramatically.
In conclusion, emerging tech trends in the insurance industry. The first one, the use of disruptive technologies in the insurance industry is going to see an immense amount of growth in the coming times. New technologies are transforming the traditional operations in the insurance sector. 3, by using technologies, insurers are seeing a reduction of 40% in insurance's operation expenses. Lastly, there are 4 top technologies that are impacting the insurance industry. 1, predictive analysis of data. Many insurers are using predictive analytics to collect data to understand and forecast the customer behavior, calculating the risk factors associated with a particular business or insurance. 3, identify the risk of insurance cancellations for business customers. Lastly, assessing the risk of fraudulent claims. Number 2, artificial intelligence. With the help of AI, insurance companies can transform the insurance underwriting processes. AI also enables insurance advisors to design solutions to meet unique client requirements. The third one is a chat box. Chat box can interact with the customers and help them to solve commonly faced problems. These bots are able to complete common processes like policy application, filing of claims, and many others. 4, and lastly, the drones. Drones can be used in a risk assessment and calculation, surveying factories, farms, and places which are difficult to reach by humans. The use of drones can save insurers a lot of money associated with the risk factors of a business. Lastly, the latest developments in technology can help insurance providers increase revenue and profitability. With that, I think I had to cut my talk a little bit short, but thank you so much for affording me this opportunity. It looks like technology is here to stay. We all need to embrace it. And I'm hoping that the people who are here in this room and those who are listening are going to be doing something about the things that we are speaking about today. Thank you so much. Namaste.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ms. Zine. And first of all, thank you for joining us in spite of your bad throat and being with us. And you laid a perfectly, great groundwork for the panel discussions to follow on IoT and InsurTech. So thank you again for joining us today, Ms. Zine, and take care.
Thank you.
So with that, as part of our Brand India Global Mission, we have identified a few women global ambassadors who have taken an oath to contribute to the society in the best way possible and to be the wave of change. So on that note, I would like to invite one of our global ambassadors, Ms. Mubin Irshad, to use this incredible platform to share her vision and mission as part of GCPIT. Ms. Mubin is an author, storyteller, motivational speaker, and a trainer, and she's the director of an educational enterprise called Story Carpet. So over to you, Ms. Mubin.
So good evening, everyone. I am Mubin Irshad. I'm a global ambassador of JCPIT. I'm excited, thrilled, and proud to be part of this Global Technology Summit 2020. CIMSME has been a brand leader in creating women empowerment in the areas of she trades, Brand Indian Global Mission, Womenomics, and many more. And I am the ambassador for girls' education and women's health. I strongly believe an entire community could be transformed through education. And if a girl gets the highest form of education, she will transform herself, her children, and also the people around her. She tries out different ways to bring financial independence, thereby improving the status of the family. An educated woman will take care of her health as well as the family. Also, she'll be smart, independent, and takes decisions on her own. So it is very important to emphasize the necessity of educating a girl. I'm already in the process of educating children, which includes both gender, and my vision is to touch and transform 10,000 girls a year. But also stand for women's health. A healthy woman is the epicenter of the family. If her health goes for a toss, then the entire family is at loss. A healthy woman creates a healthy world around her. When I utter the word health, it's not only the physical health I'm mentioning here, but also the mental health. If we empower women on taking care of their physical health and emotional well-being, No wonder she could create miracles around her. A woman is a symbol of happiness, prosperity, and freedom. I'm planning to create awareness about the importance of taking care of their health by talking to them in person and also through webinars. I have decided to serve in the domain of girls' education and women's health, and I'm sure with the collaboration here, we will create a glorious India together. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Mubin, and wishing you all the best in your mission. So with that, audience, we're going to take a short break of just a minute, and we're going to be right back with a panel discussion on enabling digital transformation with IoT. So please stay tuned.